外交部试音123，外交部试音123。
外交部例行记者会试音1、2、3、4。
Yeah, it's getting worse now.现在还有，
就是记者使用的设备的那个没办法。那个我们记者的设备，他们
你说是从那个翻译的那个是吗？
小台阶，他们用小台阶接在桌面上，不知道是哪个记者设备，可能跟我们串起来了。
对，等一下。
一个很小的一个电鼓手。
So confident in the role.
Might even be from the control room.
Who knows? It's terrible. What is going on?
One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 外交部。
today's press conference. First, an announcement. Member of the Political Bureau of the CPC Central Committee and Minister of Foreign Affairs Wang Yi will visit Cambodia, Thailand, and Myanmar upon invitation from April 22nd to 26th. He will attend with Defense Minister Dong Jun the first meeting of China-Cambodia 2+2 strategic dialogue mechanism between foreign and defense ministers. The floor is open to questions now.
谢谢发言人。中新社记者提问：中方刚刚发布了。
So you just announced that Foreign Minister Wang Yi will visit Cambodia, Thailand, and Myanmar. Could you share us China's expectations on this visit? Cambodia, Thailand, and Myanmar are all friendly neighbors of China. Under the strategic guidance of President Xi Jinping and the leaders of the three countries, sustained and steady progress has been made in building the community with a shared future, injecting strong impetus into the national development. The century-defining transformation is unfolding at an accelerating pace and bringing more challenges to the regional countries. At the same time, all the three countries are at the critical junctures for development, as Cambodia is practicing pentagonal strategy at a faster pace, and the new governments of Thailand and Myanmar has just taken office. Therefore, through this visit, China hopes to implement the common understandings among the top leaders, deepen comprehensive strategic cooperation, consolidate China-Cambodia ironclad relationship, enrich the meeting of Chinese and Thais are one family, carry forward the close friendship in China and Myanmar, bring more benefits to the people of respective countries, and make great contributions to the peace, stability, development, and prosperity in the region. Next one.
请发言人。
So could you introduce the arrangements of the first meeting under the 2+2 strategic dialogue mechanism between foreign ministers and defense ministers of China and Cambodia? What topics will be covered? During the visit to Cambodia in April last year, President Xi Jinping and the leaders of Cambodia have agreed on establishing 2+2 strategic dialogue mechanism between foreign ministers and defense ministers of the two countries. It fully demonstrates the high level and strategic nature of the bilateral relations. Amid turbulence and transformation in the world, the launch of 2+2 strategic dialogue mechanism can help China and Cambodia strengthen strategic communication and tackle external challenges together. It is an important part for deepening China-Cambodia all-weather community with a shared future for the new era and advancing two countries' modernization drive. Foreign Minister Wang Yi and Defense Minister Dong Jun will have an in-depth exchanges of views with Cambodian side on bilateral relations, political and defense security cooperation, international and regional situations, and so on, and will have meetings with Cambodian leaders. China is ready to work with Cambodia to make good use of this platform and make coordinated efforts to advance high-quality development and high-level security to the benefits of prosperity, revitalization, and the long-term stability of the two countries. Next one, please.
Question from Nippon TV.
今天，日本政府放宽了对防卫装备的限制。日本政府称，它将会加强与伙伴国家的安全合作。请问中方有何评论？
China is gravely concerned over this. Years ago, Japanese militarists engaged in rampant aggression and expansion and committed heinous crimes against China and neighboring Asian countries. Due to Japan's history of aggression and in order to prevent the resurgence of Japanese militarism, a series of instruments with legal effect under international law, such as the Cairo Declaration, the Potsdam Proclamation, and the Japanese Instrument of Surrender, explicitly stipulated that Japan should be completely disarmed and shall not maintain industries that would enable its rearmament. The Japanese constitution also imposes strict restrictions on the country's military strength, the right of belligerency, and the right to wage wars. After World War II, Japan established strict norms, such as the exclusively defense-oriented principle, to limit the development of military strength and the export of weapons. In 1972, the Japanese government issued a unified view on arms exports, clearly stating that Japan would handle arms exports with caution. Japan's recent dangerous moves in military and security fields have debunked its self-proclaimed labels as a peaceful nation and adherence to the exclusively defense-oriented principle. Many experts worry that Japan is restarting its war machine. Japan's accelerated remilitarization is a fact and reality, supported by concrete plans and actions. The international community, including China, will remain highly vigilant and firmly resist Japan's reckless moves towards new militarism. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。北京日报记者提问：近日，美国
Beijing Daily. In the recently released 2026 Hong Kong Policy Act report, the U.S. State Department misrepresented democracy, freedom, and rule of law in Hong Kong. What's your comment? China deplores and firmly opposes the latest iteration of the so-called report, which, supported by nothing but disinformation, leveled wanton criticism against Hong Kong affairs. We have lodged strong protests with the U.S. side. Since the return of Hong Kong, the Chinese government has fully, faithfully, and firmly implemented the principles of one country, two systems, Hong Kong people administering Hong Kong, and a high degree of autonomy. The implementation of the national security law and safeguarding national security ordinance has ensured better protection of Hong Kong residents' rights and freedoms, Hong Kong's prosperity and stability, and the lawful rights and interests of the international community in Hong Kong. The lawful actions taken by Hong Kong law enforcement and judicial bodies endangering against the crimes endangering national security are fully justified and beyond reproach. Hong Kong is now at a new stage where it is set to thrive. As China embarks on the new journey of the 15th five-year plan, we believe that with the institutional safeguards of one country, two systems, Hong Kong is headed to an even brighter future. Hong Kong is China's Hong Kong, and Hong Kong affairs are purely China's internal affairs. The Chinese government has unwavering resolve in upholding sovereignty, security, and development interests. We urge the U.S. to abide by the principles of international law and basic norms governing international relations, and stop interfering in China's domestic affairs, including Hong Kong affairs, in any form. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。总台央视记者提问。
CCTV. We noted yesterday President Xi Jinping had a phone call with Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince and Prime Minister. Comments say that since the conflict in Iran broke out, China has stepped up diplomatic efforts for peace. What will China do to continue promoting peace talks and de-escalate tensions? The Iran conflict is one of the most pressing challenges facing the international community. Recently, President Xi Jinping made 4 propositions on safeguarding and promoting peace and stability in the Middle East. First, stay committed to the principle of peaceful coexistence. It's important to support the Gulf states in improving their ties, work to build a common, comprehensive, cooperative, and sustainable security architecture. Second, the principle of national sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity of the Gulf states should be earnestly respected. Third, the principle of international rule of law. We should safeguard the authority of international rule of law and basic norms in international relations, and should reject the return of the law of the jungle. Fourth, stay committed to a balanced approach to development and security. All sides should work to create a sound environment for the development of the Gulf states. China stands ready to continue working, making active efforts, and these propositions promote China's solution to end the conflict and realize peace. They have received growing recognition and support. The current situation is at a critical stage of whether the conflict could end or not. In times like this, it is more imperative that all sides show utmost sincerity, stick to political settlements, keep up the momentum of ceasefire, and work for the early restoration of normal passage through the Strait of Hormuz and peace and stability in the Middle East and the Gulf region. Guide Guided by the spirit of President Xi Jinping's four-point proposition, China will work together with the international community to play an active and constructive role. Next one, please.
Good afternoon from AFP.
法新社，我想问有关于中东的问题。伊朗和美国的停火协议将会在明天到期。现在我们仍然不清楚美伊之间的谈判是否会恢复。请问中国对双方的能提供的信息是什么？谢谢。
I have answered relevant questions just now. I'd like to reiterate that the current situation in the region is at a crucial stage of whether the conflict would end or not. The window for peace has opened, and all parties should create favorable conditions for ceasing hostilities. China supports parties in maintaining the momentum of ceasefire and will continue to play a constructive role for realizing peace and stability in the Middle East. Next one, please.
Thank you. From question from Bloomberg.
彭博社，前任美国常驻联合国代表黑利发帖称，美国在霍尔木兹海峡扣押的船只是从中国开往伊朗的，与用于制造导弹的化学品运输有关。请问中方对此有何评论？
据我了解
As far as I know, it is a foreign-flagged container ship. China opposes any malicious association and hyping up the issue.
下一个问题。
Next one, please.
日本共同社提问。
Kyoto. The Japanese Yasukuni War Shrines held the routine Spring Festival. The Japanese Prime Minister Takaichi has sent the ritual offering under the name of Prime Minister. So what's China's comment?
China firmly opposes and strongly condemns Japan's latest negative moves related to the Yasukuni War Shrine and has lodged serious and strong protests with the Japanese side. The Yasukuni Shrine is a spiritual tool and symbol of Japanese militarists responsible for the war of aggression. It is in fact a shrine for war criminals. This year marks the 80th anniversary of the beginning of the Tokyo trials. For over 2.5 years, judges from 11 countries heard the case and with undeniable evidence and in strict accordance with law, exposed horrendous crimes committed by Japanese fascists and militarists in their war of aggression, which laid the foundation for the post-war international order. However, to our indignation, 80 years on, the notorious Yasukuni War Shrine still honors convicted Japanese Class A war criminals with direct responsibilities for the war crimes committed during the war of aggression, and Japanese officials and politicians still make visits or send ritual offerings or cash offerings to the war shrine. Japan's negative moves related to the Yasukuni War Shrine in nature is its evasion of historical responsibilities, an affront to the fair verdicts in history, provocation against the countries who have been invaded, and a challenge against the outcomes of World War II victory. Such moves have been widely condemned and firmly rejected by the international community. Japan must do serious soul-searching. Will it continue to let the specter of militarism spread, distort historical facts, and whitewash its crimes? Or will it deeply and seriously reflect on its war crimes, foster a right view of history, and earn trust from its Asian neighbors and the international community? With massive hikes in military budget, the deployment of intermediate-range offensive missiles, relaxed restrictions on weapon export, attempted revision of its constitution, and abandon of the 3 non-nuclear principles, how can Japan possess itself as a peace-loving country? What's Japan really up to? What Japan needs to see clearly is that all peace-loving forces for justice will never allow new militarism to spread and threaten regional peace and stability. Instead, they will definitely meet a firm response from us. Amnesia of history means betrayal, and denial of responsibility spells repetition of crimes. The international community must stay on high alert against Japan's moves of historical revisionism, jointly contain its attempts of new militarism, and work together for regional and global peace and stability. Next one, please. The paper. The 82nd session of the UN Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific opened in Bangkok. The Chinese delegation announced at the meeting that it is ready to host the 2027 session in Shanghai. Could you share more information? The UN Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific is the most important UN organization in the region dedicated to comprehensive economic and social development. It was founded with a mission to promote open, inclusive, and sustainable growth in the Asia-Pacific. Vice Foreign Minister Ma Zhaoxu, who headed the Chinese delegation, delivered a statement at the general debate, focusing on how to implement the 4 global initiatives put forward by President Xi Jinping. He elaborated on China's position on safeguarding multilateralism, promoting openness and cooperation, seizing opportunities, and advancing sustainable development, and called for joint efforts to deepen Asia-Pacific cooperation and build an Asia-Pacific community. China is ready to host the next SCAP session in Shanghai, the birthplace of the organization, when we mark its 80th anniversary in 2027. We look forward to it as an opportunity to gather all within the Commission to renew the original purpose, enhance mutually beneficial cooperation, and contribute more to building an Asia-Pacific community. Next one, please. Beijing Youth Daily. Recently, Brazil, Mexico, and Spain issued a joint statement calling for the alleviation of the situation in Cuba and reaffirming the principles of respect for human rights, territorial integrity, sovereign equality, and peaceful settlements of conflicts. Russia's deputy foreign minister visited Cuba and stated that Russia will not abandon Cuba. A number of European countries held solidarity rallies in support of Cuba, and some non-governmental organizations in the U.S. called for the lifting of sanctions against Cuba. According to media reports, representatives of the U.S. Department of State recently visited Cuba and met with Cuban officials. What's China's comment? Recently, the U.S. blockade against Cuba has drawn widespread opposition from many countries and various sectors within the U.S. The U.S. government should heed the just cause and immediately end its blockade, sanctions, and all forms of coercion and pressure against Cuba. China stands ready to work with all sides to firmly support Cuba in safeguarding national sovereignty and security and opposing external interference. Next one, please.
还有其他问题？
Any other questions?
好，今天。
Then let's call it a day. Thank you for coming.